Alright guys, so today I got a package in the mail. I'm gonna go ahead and unbox it. It is from benchdogs.co.uk. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we have in the box. Alright, so first off, we've got a benchdogs.co.uk sticker and some kind of a card with the instruction manual or something like that on there. And it looks like we have a variety of products here. So one, we have these MFT style or dog style braces. So basically they can fit down in the table and you can slide them up against a piece of work to actually hold it in place. So if I wanted to butt this piece of plywood up against a couple of these stops, actually, why is that one upside down like that? Looks like one of them is put together a little bit differently than the other one. So let's swap it around. And one of the benefits is that it's lower than the surface, so you can actually sand work with these. And this bottom part appears to be like a quad dog. If you can just take a look here, you've got these rubber grommets here, so when you tighten this down they expand and it kind of locks the dog in place. So I can put this here and butt that up against the work like that, and then work basically, let's see here, let's butt that up there. Alright, so I got that one down and I got that one tight. So basically back and forth, I can't move it. It's locked my table. Actually, you can move it that way, but back and forth this way. Let's see. Alright, so I actually have a total of 4 of these, and the application that I was thinking of using this with is in conjunction to regular rail dogs. So it looks like they both came kind of with one up and one down. I'm not quite sure if that fits in there, like that's a 20 mil opening. It doesn't appear to be. Alright, so let's turn this portion around. So one of them came up and the other one came down. So I'm imagining that you could have it either way. And these dogs just come totally apart. They're, I believe they're stainless steel. Alright, let's see if I can get this working the way that my brain was thinking that they would work. So I could pop this down in here like this, butt that up and tighten it down. Right? And then that gives me this gives me a surface where I can actually sand and the piece of wood is not moving all around the table. Now, the other way that I would use this, so one of the ways that I could see myself using this setup, let me go ahead and take these out for a second. All right. Now, so say I have a piece of, these are, I don't know if these are 60 mil, but basically these are tall dogs. So I can stick them inside of my table and tighten it down. And I can grab a second one and put it in here and tighten that down. Then I can push my workpiece up against here. Now, if you look along these holes, if I wanted to put, let's say, dogs on this side, there's actually nothing holding this in place. Likewise, if I look to the left or the right, there's a gap. Now I could push this down here and butt it up this way, but then if I put a dog on these other sides, let me see if I have another, or like I'll just throw this one here. As you see, my piece can jostle back. So if you have a device like this, you can take these dogs out. I can actually put this in and push this up to butt it up against my work in this direction, right? And so now I have no forward and backward movement. And actually I don't have much movement going to that direction, but I can come back over here and look at how close I can put this. And if I needed another one, so there you go, look at that, that's nice and secure. Now obviously with these dogs here, you know, I'm not able to sand past them. I may have, yeah, I don't think I have any other short dogs that would actually bind this in, but even still, I can, you know, sand this workpiece on this side or work with it like if I wanted to do a domino, I could put it on the edge of the table and just secure the four sides, keeping it secure. But one of the issues with using dogs sometimes is that when you have it referenced on maybe two sides, there is too much of a gap between the other sides. So that is the reason why I purchased this particular device, and I actually purchased 4 of them because in my mind I can see where I may want to use more than just the 2. Now, one of the things that I would have to take a look at is, let's see if it's as secure if I put it here, and then I'll take this particular one and butt it up, tighten that down. We'll take this out. And that's nice and secure as well, right? So basically, I mean, in a way, you could, you know, I could see myself using, you know, even getting a few more of these and putting them in different locations to keep, you know, if I wanted to sand, I can sand all the way to the edge with these particular style of clamps. These, I would call them like maybe like a dog leverage clamp, if you will. So my workpiece is nice and secure. Let's take this one out. And see what we got here. And you see how you kind of have this cantilever type of action as well. So you could actually turn it and then kind of position it in however you want the workpiece to set. And then from front to back, I'm secure. So if I had, you know, maybe 1 or 2 on this side, you know, if I wanted it to be really secure, I would actually put 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then, you know, maybe have another one here, move this one over, and this piece would be nice and solid and in place. So anyways, this is 2 of these cost $46, $47 at benchdogs.co.uk. Obviously I purchased 2 sets. So this is just one of the products that I picked up from benchdogs.co.uk. Now going back to the packaging, we have here a set of adjustable rail dogs. Now basically, the way that these work, all right, so let me see if I can demonstrate this. This is not, so I ordered this, but this is not actually this is not exactly what I thought it was when I purchased it, but as I see it here, I can I have an idea of how it can be utilized. So obviously this is a dog, it will fall through the table just like it did there, but what this has the ability to do is I can actually take a piece of wood and put it at a certain height. So let's say I want it even with this. All right, so I know that's the height that I want. I can take this little collar, pop it over the top like that, and then I'll snug this up. Trying to be careful not to strip out that little hex screw. So I snug that up like that, and right there it's equal as far as the actual height. Now let's go ahead and do this other one and get it in place as well. And I'll show you what this is going to be good for. So if I put this here and I raise it up to the height of my stop, and then I want to take the little O-ring or whatever. Let's pull back that locking screw. Slide it down over the top, and then I want to snug this up. Now, all right, so there we go. So now what I can do is I can take these and stick them wherever I want on the table, and as you see, they're going to be level with my stock. Now let's look at how this actually is going to benefit me. If I take my, let's see here, if I take my guide rail that actually has dogs on it, and say I want to make a cut on this piece of wood, which we know is equal with these dogs. Now, when I actually put the rail in, like this, and I take my stock out, the rail stays up. It is elevated off of the workpiece. I can lift it just a hair, and I can actually make my cut. Lift it just a hair, pull it out, but I can actually stick my fingers underneath the rail because of these dogs with the adjustable collar. Now, you can also, let me see if I have that for these dogs. I think I do. Now, honestly, I thought that these were the same as these dogs here, because I can do the same thing with these dogs where basically I can put this, let's pull this out, and I can put the collar at about the same height, give or take. Tighten that up like so, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm just eyeballing this, so it's not, you know, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but it's just to kind of give effect. All right, so we tighten that up, and basically what this ensures is that my rail does not go all the way down. It does not bottom out on the table. So as you can see, let me turn it to the side so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Now, as I said, I am not the biggest fan of these let me back up. I like the dogs, and I like the way that it gives you a repeatable cut along your grid of holes. So if your holes are square and you use rail dogs, then your cut will be square to those holes. I do like that part. This portion of having to go up under the rail and loosen it and kind of jimmy with it is not something that I'm really fond of. Now I'm going to pull it all the way back here so you can kind of get a visual of how this is sticking up off of the piece. So there you go. So you can see that, and what that gives me the ability to do is to slide my stock underneath. Now this is slightly higher than what it needs to be. So what I would do with this is I would actually take the Allen key, turn this around, and I would turn it and actually adjust it. I would loosen it here, and I'm sure there's a better way to do this. So that dropped down on that side, and then I'm gonna come back over here on this side and do the same thing where I loosen it. And now what I want to make sure is that it's level on each side, and then I want to snug that back up. So let's go ahead and screw this in. And in actuality, I guess another way I could do this, let me get it off the table here. Another way that I could do this would be take my stock, put it here, and then I guess make it level here. Wait a minute, does it need to be, I think it, does it need to be here? Let's give this a shot and see if this is it. Sometimes I have to kind of toy with something to kind of figure it out. We'll see if this is the appropriate way to set this. This might be wrong though. We'll see. Okay, so I got those snug down. Let's go ahead and put this back into the table like there. So yeah, this is way too high. So I want to go back the other way. Anyways, you get the gist of what I'm saying. So I could actually take a, I guess a ruler measurement or whatever, or I could take a piece of stock and get this set to the appropriate depth, which would be, I guess, let's lower it down. And these ridges, who knows, may be set up to common stock, because I noticed that there are ridges on the actual collar of the dog. Now before, I didn't utilize these collars simply because I didn't want to have to change them back and forth between like say 3/4, 18 mil or 12 mil plywood. I just wanted to kind of set it and forget it. And so obviously if you don't have this on there, when you put the rail into the table, it's going to actually be flush with the table, and you have to reach underneath, unscrew the dog, right? And then maybe even push up on the dog to actually elevate your track off the table. That's even more problematic on basically a 4 foot deep MFT, because you may have to walk around to the other side to get to that back dog. So I've been looking into possibly getting a system that's similar to the Festool, where you actually have a fence that you can just lift up. As I said, I don't think that this is a terrible idea or a bad idea. I just think that if you want to make repeatable cuts fast, I wouldn't say that this is actually the fastest way when you have systems where you have a rail, a guide rail that can be lifted up off of the work to actually make cuts. So anyway, so that is, there you have two products that I purchased. So you have these dogs, which basically can just sit in the table, and your rail can fasten on top. I don't have to use the actual connectors on these rails here, right? I don't have to use those. But as I pulled these out of the box, honestly, I thought that these were actually these, and I had forgotten that I had these collars that came with these guide rail squares, and they just slide into the T-track, and you screw them to tighten them down to make them secure. All right, so let's move on and see what else we have in the package. Here I just have, I want to say these are 6mm knobs, and what I want to see is if these are the ones, the correct ones to attach the rail, and they are not. So these knobs are, you know, I guess more for these devices. So I'll have to go back and order the ones that attach the fence. That's what I had intended to purchase, were the ones to tie the fence down. So I will be ordering those, and these also seem to be the ones that will go into to hold the actual fence in place. So these will not go to waste. These were like $2 a piece at benchdogs.co.uk. And let's go ahead and pull out the final purchase, and that would be here in this styrofoam or whatever kind of paper this is. Let's go ahead and open this up. We see right off the bat that we have a couple of pins. Go ahead and unwrap this. And here we have Bench Dogs Rail Square. So I've seen this reviewed a couple times on YouTube, and I was considering getting it, obviously, and obviously I did pull the trigger. Now looking at it, it is made by benchdogs.co.uk. It's got a nice little lip here so that it actually can stand on its own. You can butt it up against your work with that lip on either side. It's a fairly unique design, as you don't have a full point down on this bottom edge, right? So a typical square and of course I'm having difficulty finding it, of course. I don't see it. Anyways, I'll just pull this one out even though it's not a comparable model. But typically a square is going to have that point that goes all the way down to the end. Now I have, actually I see it now, I have a Milwaukee branded version of this device. Oh, here's the other one. So I have these, right? So essentially they kind of serve the same purpose. However, this particular one has a few unique features. Number one, it's in millimeters as opposed to in inches, as this particular device here is in. It obviously has these pins which screw into any of these holes that are along the actual device. Now you can use those pins, you could put them in, not like that, but basically on, if you put it on this other end, let's say, let's see if it works like this. So say I put one here, and then let's go ahead and put this one here on this plane, and then I can butt it up. That doesn't really work either. So how does that work? Does it fit? Oh, well, one thing I see, so I know it butts up this way. One of the things that I did learn watching someone else's video is on the end here, there's a scale. It looks like it goes from 0 up to about 42 mil. So let's say you're trying to set your table saw blade or your router table a bit up to a certain height. You can utilize this by setting it next to it to get that height. Let's see, what else can this thing do? You have a 12.5 millimeter hole here. You have two. You have one on this side and one on this side. Then you have 9 millimeter and also a 9mm here. You have two 7.5s and then also two 6mm settings on this device. Along this edge you have degrees. You got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, all the way up to 45, and then 45 back down to 5. So let me just try this into two 6 pins, and I'm just trying to get an idea of what I can do with this, because one of the things I noticed, like this is not sitting flat on here, but I can go and butt up this way. All right, and I think, okay, if I turn it around this way, I can get my 45-degree angle all the way down. And so it gives me 2 points of reference. I butt up this way and then on the base as well, pushing up. All right, so you got that. So here I can mark along this edge to get like a 45-degree line there. Obviously, when I take the pins out from here, and the pins go in both sides, so you don't have to worry about it being only being able to thread them on one side. And then when I butt this up here, you get this line. So you've got these interesting openings here within the square, so just like this one, but just a different design, I imagine, for different ways to clamp the device. There is a hole on here right here. It looks like the 12.5mm one, that it's the pivot. So if I take the pin and I put it on the bottom here, and then I butt it up against my work, and then basically what I can do is I can take this other pin, and let's say I want a 45-degree angle. I'll put this pin into the 45-degree angle section. I'll put it on that pivot, and then I'll turn here like this, and that is giving me a 45-degree angle going this direction, right? If I change my pivot point, and let's say I'll put it at 22.5 here, and I put it on the pivot point and turn this back like this, pushing it up against the work. And this is, you know, perfect for your dog, so this doesn't slide. Let's move it up a little bit more so I can make sure I'm in frame. So I butt that up, and then I have a 22.5 angle going this way. If I want a 25, I'll put it in the 25 hole. Now obviously I can do this on either side. So I got the pivot in, and I butt it up, and as I go here, and let's go ahead and utilize all the tools that we have at our disposal here. And we'll butt this up on this direction. We've got that over there. And let's go ahead and put this one here. All right. All right, so let's pull this out, turn it over, and try some more markings. All right, so first and foremost, let's make that 25-degree angle. So I butt it up here and swing it around. This is my 22.5 angle. I'm going to take this pin out and put it in the 5-degree. And I'm butting it up here and turning it back. And that's a 5-degree angle here. Can't hardly see that. And then obviously the 0-degree angle, which is the 90, is right here, right? Let's see how accurate this is. And it looks pretty good. Let me see if I have a thicker lead pencil to kind of make that more prominent. So we're gonna go down here, and then we're gonna go and put the pencil here on top of the line. Go up and down, and there does not appear to be any deviation there. So anyways, you got your basic 45, and then at the pivot point, right? And so what I noticed with this particular device is, in order to get that pivot, right, you need to put these pins in. I mean, I guess you could eyeball it per se, but because of the way that the pins are, there's no line markings on this side. So like if I take this particular model, right, and then I pivot it, you see here are my angles, you know, and I just put it on the line. But there's nothing securing it. I can easily just kind of bump that around, and you're not going to be clamping that. So if I'm trying to pivot, let's say I want this 25-degree angle here, and then I hold that down, right, as best as I can. And think about it, you have that parallax error. So if I'm looking from one angle or another, this may not actually be the 25-degree angle that I want. But then on the flip side, if I take this particular device and I put the pin in the pivot portion, and then I put this at the 25-degree marker here, and then I go pivot and swing that around, now I have 2 points of reference. I'm pushing forward here on the work like this, and I can, you know, I can hold that down with one hand, whereas with this this one here, I got the pivot point and I'm trying to hold it. I have to kind of hold it from the top. As you see, I'm kind of slipping with this one, and this one here is rock solid because it's actually, you know, it's got these 2 pins to reference. So I like that. I like that. That's gonna make me a lot more accurate with certain aspects of my work. So I don't have to use the conventional method of, you know, kind of guessing my angle, marking it out. Now there is a little bit more, there are more steps involved, but if you're doing repeatable angles, this is really nice because I just come in, put that line there, come over here, butt it up, and make another line parallel to that, come over here, butt it up, and make another line parallel to that. And so you're just getting these lines with no problem. And obviously, as I said, you take these pins out, put them on the opposite side, and let's go back. Let's do a 10-degree angle back the other way. So I take this, I butt it up like this? No. Is that right? Pivot point. So based upon this pivot, this is my 10-degree angle here. I guess. Not feeling right to me, but okay. I have to figure out how this thing actually works. So I do have it in the pivot point, and if I'm trying to get a degree, how do I get that degree? Because when because that's the reverse angle. So if I come down here and put it in the 10, so I can go back the other way, I get my 10. Okay. User error. So then I've got my 10-degree angle, and then I'll come back over here. Let's do a 40-degree angle. Go here and just push that down, and see, I just butt it up and just go, and it's set. That's pretty quick. You know, as with this, putting it up here, and I'm going to, let's say I want that 40-degree angle, I want to go here. If I'm doing this right, I'm not sure. Right? And then I go back. So this is a 45, and this is my 40 here, right? Oh. And I go back, and then say I want to do another one. Each time I have to kind of set it, and you know, due to human error, I may actually get the wrong angle. With this, I'm guaranteed, no matter where I put this on the work, to get whatever angle I'm looking for. So I like that. I like that. Now, one of the things I'm noticing here, let me just see if these pins store on device. So I'm imagining you can store the pins here on the device, and obviously that gives me the ability to use this here normally, and I'm able to go on both sides. So I like that, and they can store on either side, and it doesn't take away the usability of the device. So one of the things that I realized, or that I learned about this particular thing, so these dimensions around the base. So this here says 7.5 millimeters, and this over here is 12.5. So I'm thinking maybe from here to here. Just taking a look at this here and trying to determine what all it does. So this is obviously 3 pieces of aluminum. You have these 2 outside pieces and then the inner piece. Now, as this, you know, looking at this, right? So even though I can pivot here like this, so as I said, this one, I can pivot to the line, and obviously if I can hold it in place, right? You gotta hold it down, but I can pivot to the line and make my mark. With this one, you see, even though I have my pivot on this corner, there are no lines on the tip, so you can't easily, you would be basically guessing if you tried to get a 20-degree angle based upon where this is at, because you mean you can, you know, I guess in theory, because the hole, if you try to line up the edge of the hole, maybe you could consider that, you know, like say right there, that's a 20-degree angle, and then you move it down here, you know, but I don't think this is super accurate to use it like that. So you really want to use these pins and put them in the appropriate location. So here I got a 22.5 angle, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the pivot point here, and you butt that up, and there's my angle here at 22.5. I like it. It feels nice and sturdy, and it has more weight than this Milwaukee branded one. Obviously the foot is a lot more substantial. If you look at the Milwaukee, it's just got this base foot. Here it actually has the 3 different pieces of aluminum bolted together. It looks like it's attached with the like an Allen wrench here in these 4 bolt areas. I'll have to do a little bit more research, you know, and play around with this to see what all you can do with it. But I'm happy with the build quality. I like the nice black anodized aluminum, and these markings. I know all these line gradients here are etched into the device, so you don't have to worry about those coming off. Anyway, this right here is the benchdogs.co.uk square. It's 175 millimeters, I believe, in total length. And yeah, I like it. It's the best I can say. Now this 7.5, just playing with this and trying to figure out what else you can do with it. I guess, so what would I do with this? So I guess, okay, I see another use, I believe. So I believe that this is 7.5 mil up from the edge here. And let's try, let's see here. Yep. Okay. So these areas here, so if you wanted to get, let's say 6 mil from the edge, you'll put both of these pins at the 6 mil marker and butt this up against your work, and you've got a 6 mil line right there. And then you also have a setting at both 9 and 8 and 12.5 mil. So the 9 mil obviously would be your center on 18 mil stock. So if you wanted to mark out the center line of a piece of wood, so like this is obviously not, well, this is close to 18 mil, so I can butt this up here like this, right? And I can mark out my center line on this piece of plywood, which is pretty cool. Or if I wanted to find the center line on an edge that was 12, or this is 9 mil, 9 mil in, that's where that would be. Now it does not have, well, obviously it doesn't go far enough up to do the what do you call it, to do like 18 mil. However, I also see here, if I take these out, if I put this up here, this right here appears to be 12.5 mil. If I come on this, other side and butt this up, now obviously it's not flush. This appears to be 7.5 mil. So let's test that theory. Let's take the 7.5 here, butt this up, butt it up against here, and it's spot on. Now let's go ahead and test the 12.5. And I can butt this up at 12.5, and it appears to be spot on as well. Now I was actually, if I take this here, and actually, yeah, it's the same reference point as this ledge, because as I push here, it's the same all the way across. So if I just needed a quick 12.5, I can just reference off of the bottom edge here and get that 12.5. So the different references off of this edge are going to be 6 mil, 7.5, 9 mil, and 12.5 mil, giving you the ability to mark whatever your stock is at those increments. Obviously, you get your angles, you get your height for like whether it be your table saw adjustment, blade height, or also your router blade height. So that's pretty cool the way that actually works out. So let's go ahead and get a couple angles of using it with the table saw and then also with the router. Got there. So here's my router bit there. I don't know if it'll go closer. So I can take this and butt it up against my router and then do my adjustment to put my router at, let's say, if I wanted to go to 10 mil of depth, I can get that right here with this setup. So it's perfect for being able to adjust your actual router height. Let's see, we can get it just to show it more pronounced. I can go all the way up to the 20 mil mark. And this will give me an idea of how high this will go. That gives me the 25 mil mark. And that's up to the 30. And all the way up to 42 mils worth of adjustment with this device. All right, finally, let's go ahead and check it out with the table saw blade. I can actually put this up against my table saw blade and I can actually adjust it on this side up to the different heights. Accordingly. Not bad. Not bad at all. As you can see there, you can get in there and adjust your blade. Now in theory too, you can put it down like this, and you can adjust your saw blade to a 45-degree angle and lock it in and get your angle there as well. So you got multiple things that you can do with this particular product. So obviously it comes with 2 pins. They can be stored on device. And there you go.